Guys, I'm going to do a little live working session. You are welcome to join. You're welcome to watch it back in the future. Do whatever you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and get to work here. So this is my Webflow homepage right now, or this is my current homepage. And so I'm going to do a little rework here. Most of this is going to get moved over to my pricing page. And then I'm going to simplify this here and turn it into this design, which I've got in Figma. So that's the first thing. We'll develop that out in Webflow. And then if I've got time, I'm also going to get started on the pricing page redesign here in Figma. So let's hop into Webflow and get started. I'm going to put on some music. I'm not going to explain everything I'm doing. Feel free to join. Do whatever you want to do here. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the home page first, and then I'll get started on the development. I may need to use some of this on the pricing page, and so I don't want to have to redevelop it. All right, cool. So I'm not actually using any Webflow frameworks for my website. And so I've got basically just my own little framework that I've been using. And so that's what I'm going to use for this. Cool. So we'll basically just start from scratch here. And I should probably pull up the design. It's always fun to hop into different projects that you're working on, because like some of the projects I'm working on are using Mast, some of them are using Lumos, and then some of them are just using an arrangement of other frameworks. So it's always interesting to like get your mind used to new or the same frameworks you've used in the past, but just getting used to them again. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. My keyboard has a lot of clicky clacks. That's probably super annoying for you guys to listen to. Sometimes that SVG import doesn't want to work. Okay. What's going on, Murillo? Really appreciate your work and your tutorials. They help me a lot on website I'm building. Awesome, man. It's good to hear. If there's anything specific you want to see in the future, just let me know. But good to have you here. All right, I'm gonna hop back into the benefits. I'm just gonna go ahead and steal this because I think it's the same design that I have. And then I'm also gonna steal this right here. It's been a long time since I have been in this project, and so I'm just trying to figure out what exact framework I was using because it is like it's like a mix of like lots of different frameworks. All right, so let's go ahead and move this out of that. Perfect. Okay. All right, so I've got this, like, I'll show you here. I've got this like box, and it's got the glow effect on the outside, and then some trees, and the waterfall, and the buttons below. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to add in the trees on the outside. Let's just start with a simple border just so I can see what I'm looking at. And then we'll add a 2rem padding and maybe some padding. There we go. Okay. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. And then let's go ahead and add the trees. I have been spending a lot of time learning the Lumos system, and so like my natural instinct is to add the Lumos framework element names, and so my mind is just getting mixed up with whatever I built this in. All right, let's go ahead and add the image tree right. Let's put it on the right side and put that in there. Okay. And then I'm also going to throw the video in. Background video. I think it's that waterfall one. Okay, include play pause button. Hopefully you can't hear the music I'm listening to. I'm just figuring out how to stream here, so hopefully you can hear me and everything's working correctly. I'll watch it back and see how I did. Let's go here. All right, so in the design here, I have it going past my max container width, which is I think like 14 or 1500 pixels. And so it's like almost 1800 pixels. And so I'm trying to decide if I want to go that wide or if I want to condense it. I think I'm going to condense it. I'm going to keep it just because everything on the site is within this. So 87.5 rem, which is 1400 pixels. Okay. So let's do this instead. Let's just rename this and bring the sizing down a bit. Yeah. All right, cool. I'll fix that later. And let's just see what we can do here with the condensed version. So let's turn this into a height. Oops, that's the waterfall. Say like 75% height. Okay, I might need to re-export that waterfall video just because it's not showing up here. Sometimes Webflow doesn't like certain video types, and I think this one was an MOV, so I might have to try a MP4. What Webflow framework do you think is the best for not very experienced users? Do you like client first? It's a good question. I have never built a full website with client first. I was in there pretty recently, though, just checking it out and seeing how everything was put together. And I don't think there's like a good or bad. I think all the frameworks out there that I've seen are good. I haven't seen any like really bad frameworks. If you want to start with client first, that's probably a good idea because that's where a lot of people start. And it gives you a good introduction to combo classes and utility classes. And FinSuite built it really for the vast majority of people. And so it's probably the best starter framework. I personally think I'm going to be going into Lumos, but it is a little bit more advanced and it is a little bit confusing to start off with. So client first is probably a good one. Mast is also a really good one, MAST. That's the one I use on a couple client projects currently, and it's also pretty simple. I'm trying to think of the differences between Mast and client first, but those are probably the two that I would go with if I was just starting out. For the first like 2 years of me using Webflow, I didn't have any frameworks. And so I was just naming things however I wanted to. And honestly, it wasn't the worst way to go about it because I was able to just build whatever I wanted to and I wasn't worried about the framework. But a lot of clients now are looking for a framework just because they move in and out of Webflow developers and they want something that's consistent and scalable. So yeah, Mast and client first are probably the best ones to start with. All right. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to re-export that waterfall. Let's actually go ahead and see if we can re-export that right now. If you're wondering why, so it's 11:30 where I am. If you're wondering why I'm streaming so late, it's because this is my first stream and I honestly have no idea. I had no idea how to actually work the tools. And so we'll start off slow and then maybe we'll do some during regular business hours in the future. So I think QuickTime might actually work here. Let's try it. It's been a little chilly outside. The last 2 days have been... Oh, too large. The last 2 days have been absolutely frigid. Yesterday, I think it was -15 when I got in my car in the morning. I think H.264 is the right file type. I think I formatted it differently, so let's see. Let's see how large this ends up being. It won't even accept AVI. Okay. I'm just going to keep going here, and I think this just may be an issue with like a file name or something. Not sure why it's not showing. All right, now let's go ahead and add those glowy effects on the outside. So let's see here. I've kind of been playing around with, because these are becoming more popular, and I've been playing around with different ways to do it. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make it a little bit thicker. And I'm going to have two borders, one border for this sharper white line, and then one border for the white glow on the outside. So let's go ahead and I'll just remove the border here, and then we'll just do it completely on this border. So we'll call this one my border. Sharp, and then we'll do absolute full, and then let's do like 3, and we'll add maybe a little bit of a blur. That's too much, and we'll change it to 2. Okay, and then we'll add the border outer. And we'll say this one is like 15, and we're not going to be able to see these. These are just to contain, and then we'll say something like 25. All right, so in the border sharp, we'll add a border circle, and we'll say, let's say like 15 rem by 15 rem, and we'll give it a white background and a really high radius. So we'll say 150 rem. Okay. And then let's go negative 7.5 rem to pin it to that corner. And then negative 7.5 rem. Actually, we might want to do transform, but we'll see how this works. And then let's add a blur to this one. We'll say 50. Yeah, that might actually work. Okay, well, now I can remove the border here. And let's see. There's a few ways I could do this. Let's add a backdrop here. Let's just try this with the backdrop, and then maybe we can try it differently. So I'll say absolute, full. Yep, okay. Okay, 1. Why do these have absolute positioning? So let's go. Weird. Okay. Sweet. All right. Let's see here. So this background for the waterfall, I wasn't. Oh, okay. So it's showing. It wasn't showing before. Nice. Okay. Awesome. So let me go ahead and redo some of that because I deleted some sections. All right, there we go. Okay. Nice, and then let's see here. I could probably add this one to that one. Okay, cool. And let's switch the padding over from that to the hero content. There we go. Okay, now we're cooking. All right, now back to these borders. All right, I think I know why. I did this a different way in the past, and I don't know why I did it this way. So let's try this with a little bit of padding. $2 a.m. in Brazil. You got to get some sleep, man. Have a good night, man. Yeah, I've definitely been a little bit more active on LinkedIn as well. It's probably been, after referrals, been probably my #1 lead source. And so, yeah, LinkedIn I think is good. LinkedIn and YouTube have been my go-tos. All right. I think this is what I did. I think I did no overflow. And there we go. Okay, now we can see a little bit of it. So let's just hide this one for now. Okay, that's what I like to see. Okay, and then it looks like this background is actually a different color. What did I use here? So it is black, but... I probably should have looked into some of this before I before I started the live stream. Okay. I think that looks good. Let's make it a little bit bigger. I've also got this panther print texture. I don't know if I want it on top of these borders or if I want to put the panther print underneath or just get rid of it altogether. I'll just keep it for now. Okay, let's go ahead and do the exact same thing with this one. So we'll do border sharp and then just call it border blur. And this one I'm going to make much thicker. And so we'll say like 3 rem. Okay, and then actually I can just look and see what I did for these ones. So let's see here. Testimonial card, inner color wrap, flip gradient, line gradient. Okay, so what did I do here? Okay, so the color wrap here is the one that has the padding. And then the flip gradient. Okay, but I think I'm actually going to do this one a little bit differently because this one's just a line that's spinning in a circle and this one's not square. And so the speed would be way off if it's spinning. And so I think I'm just going to keep playing with this. Okay, and then let's go ahead and add another border circle. Let's just put this one on the bottom right. And we'll say auto. Let's go absolute. Bottom right, negative 7.5 rem. And negative 7.5 rem. Actually, we're up to 25. So 25 divided by 2. So negative 12.5 rem. There we go. And negative 12.5 rem. Okay, I gotta change this one as well. What's going on, Caffey? Did I pronounce that right? What's going on? Okay, this one should also be red. And then, let's see, border circle, what is this one? Okay, let me try this. We're just going to try a few different things and see what looks best. I'm going to blur this one a lot more. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And then maybe if I bring in the backdrop again, but this time maybe I do like, we'll have to do a calculation because I want it to be the same on all of them. So we'll say 100% minus 1 rem. Let's see. 100% minus let's go 0.25 rem. Okay. And let's try that as well over here. So 100% minus 0.25 rem. There we go. We're getting closer. Let's go even less than that. Let's go like 0.1 rem. And then we'll say 0.1 rem right here. Oh, but I suppose it's going by its width as opposed to the height. Is that how it works? Yeah, I think that's calculating the percent of the width. And so... Or no, it would be calculating the percent of the height. And so why am I making this more complicated? Let's just do 0.1 rem. Or wait a second. So or yeah, so it would be 100% minus. Now I'm confusing myself. %, minus 1, 100%, 0.1 rem. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to have to figure out a different way to calculate that, but that's the idea there. And then let's see here, I think that's way too much blur. Bring the size up to like 50 rem. See how that looks, and then let's do like 33 rem. And I want those inner borders to be a little bit wider. However, I don't want the outer borders to be as much. So negative 16.5. Okay, and then the border blurred. We're gonna do, we could lower the transparency, and we could also lower the size and increase the blur. Which one do we want to do? Definitely want to lower the opacity a little bit, so we'll bring that down to like 30. Yeah, that's way better. We can do the fine-tuning later. Then where are we at with this one? Okay, cool. The color of this compared to this is really bugging me, so I know I'm gonna have to change that. Let me just see what it looks like without the Panther print. My Webflow is working very slow. I think it's because the stream is going. Let's just hide it. Yeah, my shortcuts are not working too well. That's all right. Let's take out the dark, and let's go ahead and add a 101010. Yeah. See what we did for the design. Looks all right. I think I'm going to play around with that later. Okay. Wow, my shortcuts are just absolutely gone. Guess we're gonna have to go the old-fashioned way here. It's okay. Okay, we'll call this one button CDA, and then we'll put it into a container. Okay, and then I think I've got some buttons in here. I think that button's big enough. There we go. Now we're back. Okay. Let's see if we can find a better size button. Okay. Okay, let's do the fill out lead form, do this last section here, and then I'll probably hop off when I'm done with that. There's definitely a lot of tuning up to do, especially these borders need some tuning up. Yeah, those need to be a lot sharper, brighter. Okay, and then let's see here. We'll call this one button wrap again. And let's see here. Okay, view pricing, and then this is going to go over the pricing page. Okay, Let's go ahead and get an icon from Font Awesome. If you happen to be watching this back in the future, let me know if this live stream is something that's of interest to you. I don't think these live streams are going to replace my actual videos. I might just do these in addition to. Let's see here. It's kind of fun. Building in public is definitely not my strong suit, but it's good practice. Good practice for, I guess, performing under pressure. And also just doing more of this type of stuff in the future, client calls, that sort of thing. So let's grab one of these and download. Okay. The SVG import seems to work when it wants to create a component, which I don't understand. I'm not sure in what instance you would want it to create a component. Group 1B instance. Let's see. Let's delete that. Cool. Okay. All right, so the idea here is for these images of sites that I've designed and built is to kind of like, they're going to be rotating. And I don't know if I want them to auto rotate or if I want them to rotate based on where the mouse is, or maybe if they hover over it, one of them pops up a little bit and is on top Z index wise. This is typically something I would have figured out before developing for a client website, but just because it's my website, I tinker with it as I build. So I'm going to just build the base functionality here, and then I'll figure out what I want to do later. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a div just in the center down here, and these will be popping up from that center point. Yeah, let's try it. All right, so let's put a div down here at the bottom. Call this portfolio rotation images, and then pop it down a little bit. Okay, I might change my mind, but let's just do this for now. And let's put a div right in the center down there, and we'll do one by one. And let's go ahead and we'll call this one my center point. And I think I'm going to want to set height for this. So we'll say that's way too big. 25 rem. And then in the center point, I'm going to put my images. Okay, then we'll say 90% height. Oh, that's in the, yeah, that should be right. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, and then I think this, so is this one going to have to be, let's see here. So I want it to be in the center point. I mean, I could manually position it, but I know there's a way to, I know I've done this before where it just automatically is centered. Okay. Let's turn off flex there. Not sure why that center point doesn't want to stick to that bottom. So let's go absolute wide. 100%. That's what's going on. Okay. Let me try this one more time, if we can just center it. Okay, relative 1, 1. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the image to be, this is going to be like the rotation point of the image. But the issue is that it doesn't want to actually be centered. There we go. Okay, I'm not sure what I did, but that works. And then we'll call this one our center point, rotation. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these images kind of just come from this center point, all of them, and then it's going to rotate somehow. So we'll call this one image rotation carousel, and then let's go ahead and copy another one. And so now I have to figure out, do we want these to be absolute, or is that going to mess things up here? That's probably going to mess things up. I think if we add a width, so let's say well, that didn't change anything. Let's see. Let's try that for a second. Okay, 25. All right, so let's see. Okay, let's try it again. So we're going to go absolute. And then I'm just going to try manually moving this around and see how this looks. So we'll say -10, or no. Let's go, okay, so that's going to be positioning from that top right corner. And so instead of doing that, let's do a transform so that it moves. There we go. I still think I might have to do something different just because I don't know if I want them to be sized based on the height if we're going to be doing this, but okay, we'll just keep it for now. And then we'll do this one relative, call this one 10, and this one 9. I wonder if it's because it's taking on image carousel rotation. So I might have to name that one something different. Let's see. Let's do box shadow. And we'll call it black. And crank up the blur. I think it's interesting. So it's almost like the it's almost like the image is underneath, but I think the box shadow wants to be on top or something. Okay. Let's try renaming it. Oh, I don't have my FinSuite extension. So let's do this. We moved it 25 rem, so I'm just going to rename it altogether and see if that fixes the issue. We'll go right 1. And then we'll call it 9 on the Z index, absolute. 10 on the Z index, okay. And now I'll move it. 25 rem. It still wants to be on top for some reason. That's interesting. What if we put this one absolute? Weird. What am I missing here? Let's bring in another one and see if we can get this one underneath R2 or R1. So we'll move it 50 rem. And let's see if we can bring it underneath. Okay, so that one goes underneath. So now these are all absolute positioning. And so I have no idea. I wonder if, let me just, I guess I could bring it in and, yeah, let's do that. So let's just call this one center. And get rid of the transform, so it's now in the very center. No, it still doesn't want to be on top. Nope, it's got the same z-index. 10. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. It was almost like Webflow wouldn't re-add that z-index for some reason. Maybe I did something wrong. Either way, it's working. And then let's go ahead and, so I'll probably need to size these down just a bit. They're a bit large. And so let's say 40. And yeah, see, this is the only issue of not using not using combo classes, because now we have to make all these changes for every single one, but that's okay. This isn't that big of a deal. And then let's do 20 and 40. Then let's add another rotation, and we'll say 8. Yeah, okay, so I'm having some connectivity issues, so I wonder if that was part of the issue. Rotation 8. And we'll figure out the overflow later. It's not an issue right now. And then let's do this one, rotation of 16. Actually, this might be a little bit excessive. Okay, oh, I'm going to keep it for now. It's not bad. And then let's go ahead and add a couple on the left. So we'll call this one our left one. And slide this one to the opposite side, -20 and then -8. Rotation. Left 2. Okay, there we go, nice. Alright, so just because the rotation point was a little bit different in here than Figma, I think the 8 and 16, it doesn't look terrible. So I could keep this. I could add 2 more, one on the right, one on the left. Or I could add the right and the left and also lessen the rotation and the movement to add a little bit more space. Let's go ahead and add the mouse trigger first, and then I think I'll decide what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and add some GSAP. And I'm going to let ChatGPT help me out here just for time's sake. That's what I'm missing. There we go, much deeper. And then I have to add that for all of them. I was kind of hoping I would be able to get to the pricing page design today, but I'll have to save that for a future date. I'll probably go ahead and live stream that one as well, because I think that one will be fun, designing out that pricing page. I also had some ideas to do some live streams of some fun redesigns, and so I was gonna do a Godzilla version of the a lawn company's website, and so I was gonna be using Godzilla as the inspiration for their website. And so I might live stream that one, and I might just make that one into a video. We'll see. Okay, I gotta stop talking here so I can actually get this done. So FX, okay. Okay, so when the mouse is on the left side of the screen, the div with the class of center point rotation rotates -5 degrees and 5 degrees when mouse is on right side of screen. Okay, so what I've noticed with ChatGPT is it'll oftentimes give me an outdated library script. I'm just gonna go with what they've given me, but I might have to change it because they oftentimes will give you the wrong one. And where did I put it? So custom scripts. Okay, well, I'm going to put it in here for now. Okay, so -5, -5. It's got an ease, power 2 out, rotation. Okay, and it's got a 3 second duration. Okay, so I think this is actually going to give us the wrong effect. So I'll have to revise this because I think it's going to do an animation, which is not what I want it to do. I want it to follow the mouse. Oh, actually, it is doing exactly what I want it to. Okay. I guess I read that wrong. All right. So it needs much more of an ease. And the rotation point is also wrong, but that was my fault. And so let's see here. Where do we want? And so right now it's kind of rotating around that div, which is right here. And what I want it to do is more of a left to right movement as opposed to a lopsided, like right now it's kind of like leaning like this, and I want it to more so move like hover over left and right. And so I'm going to have to figure that out in my head here. So first things first, let's add more of AEs. Okay, and then so I wonder if we put the rotation point up here. Okay, no, that would make it almost like spin around it, which we don't want. We could like artificially change it where it moves left to right. Okay, let's just one step at a time here. Okay, to save a little bit of time, I'm going to do a image carousel hover div, and I'm going to go ahead and actually change that to I am hover, and then we'll do a hover. -5 rem, and then animate it. And I'm just going to add this as a combo class so I don't have to add it to every single one. So let's do transform. I'm hover. Nice, okay. And then let's go ahead and nope, that's not what we wanted. Did I add I am hover to another class? No. Okay, no. There we go. Okay, and then let's go back to the transition because the transition is very ugly right now. Let's go like 1500. I want these to be very slow, but let's see. There we go. That's a little better. And then let's crank it down just a bit here. It doesn't need to be that big of a movement. And then let's just add it to every single one. So it wants to move. It wants to move. I wonder if that's because it's overriding this move right here. Wow, okay. So let's go hover. Yep, that's exactly what it's doing. It's overriding both of them. Okay. Let's do this instead. I'm going to make a GSAP interaction. I could do it to every single one, but it just doesn't make sense to go through every single one and then have to change it one by one. So let's do make a GSAP that moves elements -2.5 rem on y-axis with 1500 millisecond ease. And then what ease did we use? Cubic, Bezier, ease out cubic. Ease out cubic with class name I am hover. And then we need to get rid of this and clear the class. Okay, and let's add that again. Okay, so it's we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, so right now it is moving them up, and I wonder again if it's so it's transforming them up, and then it kind of wants to come down, but it wants to come down to this whatever this one's set to, which is weird. Yeah, this looks weird. This looks like a cartoon, which is not what I'm going for. But we're getting there. Okay. Okay. I'm going to quick add this here. Okay, and then I'm going to get rid of the bottom margin. Nice. Okay. All right. I'm going to spend like 5 more minutes on this, and then I'm probably going to do the rest of the revisions tomorrow. Because this still needs some touching up to do, and I want to get these animations right before publishing these out. So, what are we at here? It is 12:30. Okay. Yeah, this looks a little janky. Okay. All right, I think we're going to call it there. And I'm going to do these touch-ups in the morning because there's still a bit of work to do, and I got to make these all responsive. So I don't think I'm going to finish them, but next time I do a live stream, I'm going to be doing the pricing page redesign. And so when we click this button right here, it's going to bring us over to the pricing page. And for that, we'll probably be in Figma. And then we've also got the contact page that I want to do live. And so we'll just kind of chip away at these as we go. I'll probably do these either early in the morning or late at night, just because I like to do client work during the day. And these could be done kind of off hours. So thank you for everyone who joined, and we will see you next time.